Hello, everyone. It is never a foul. It's another day. Premier League is back, and the Carabao Cup is done. Most of the London clubs are out, but they are to play the last round of the Premier League before the World Cup. Is Arsenal going to stay top? Can Newcastle stay in the top four? What are they going to do against Chelsea and Graham Potter? Can they go back on track, this Chelsea team? Also, Spurs, what's up with Conte? And Conte aunt was trending. But I got a great panel in the background. Daps, Kendall, Gunnar Souls, Monts, and everybody. And we're here to talk about the Premier League. It's a Premier League preview, everybody. And I'm just ready. I'm ready for the World Cup, but I'll wait for this one before. So it's never a foul. And this is the intro. Without further ado, let me get some of the panelists in so we can talk about their team, to know what is going on. How are they approaching this last round of the Premier League? It is happening, people. It is happening. So first, let me get her in. She's everywhere, but she supports her club. She supported her club when they were down. Now she is so proud about her club when they are in the top four. Can they really push for that position? I think time will only can tell us. So, Kendall, how are you? Welcome to Never a Foul. I'm really glad you're here.
Me too. Thank you for having me again. Yes, it's actually nice to be positive for once about Newcastle. Every time I come on here, I'm more positive by the week. So, yeah, bring it on. Obviously, one more game to go. We'll still be in top four, no matter what happens tomorrow, which is good. So the minimum we can be at Christmas is fourth. So yeah, it's very, very nice to see.
Yeah. The other top of the league. Listen, Arsenal top of the league, and they're coming with chest. Some of them are saying they're gonna win it. Some of them are saying no, let's secure top four. But we'll wait to know Gunnar Solskjaer's opinion, and he's here with us. Hey, how are you, my friend?
Can you believe it, Kendall? Like, it's gone from misery to joy for both of us. Like, it's crazy. Top of the league, we're flying high. Disappointment on the week, but overall, you know what? We can be happy with everything that's happening. So, yeah, we'll get into it without giving any spoilers away.
Yep. So let me just pick up the people that are here first in the comments. UK Trilly official, let's get it. Yes, Viking Football YouTube is here with us as well. Sid, as always, is here. D1 Melly is here with us as well. Chelsea OG, a member. Big up for all the members that are here. And Kunal is here with us as well. So thank you, everybody that is tuning in. Elias, as always, he is here. Is Wilson out for tomorrow? I'm not sure. Kendall can tell us. Listen, I have to start with Newcastle Chelsea. It's the biggest game of this weekend. It's the one that everybody's waiting for, because you can let's just put it this way. You can actually push them more down, away from you. How are you feeling about this game? Are you confident, or you think still Chelsea is bigger than you? Even though I think you should have the upper hand in this game.
Yeah, we're unbeaten at home this season. So I would be very upset to lose to Chelsea tomorrow, like super upset. And I'm just worried about the game because it might be a little bit flat on both sides, just because both teams have quite a few players going to the World Cup. So that's the only thing I would question. But yeah, I would be hoping that we would win tomorrow. I know everyone's asking about Callum Wilson. I don't have a definitive answer for that because he is meant to be out with an illness. He went off. He wasn't at the cup game in midweek, but he did go off at the weekend, midway through the game with an illness, at Southampton. So I don't know what Eddie Howe said. He's still ill and he has been training away from the squad. So I'm not entirely sure of the extent of this illness. But he has done an interview today about being called up for England, and he looks I know it's saying things is wrong, but he looks okay. So I don't know what I genuinely don't know what's going to happen with Wilson tomorrow. Sorry, everyone. I know FPL reasons and stuff, but I don't have an answer for you. I'm sorry.
I want to get your opinion and also Gunnar Solskjaer's opinion about how can coaches motivate their players, especially the ones that are going to the World Cup? How can you get someone like Bruno Guimaraes to put 100% in? I know that this is their bread and butter, the club and everything, but it's the World Cup. It's once every 4 years. And you get called up to play for Brazil, England, whatever team. Like, you go and then Fabian Schär is going, Nick Pope is going, you know what, Trippier is going. How can you get these guys motivated to go? Also, most of the Chelsea squad, of course, are going to the World Cup. Gunnar Solskjaer, do you think that the coaches, is it better to play some of the reserves, some of the bench players, because you know they're going to give 100%, or just go for it? Because we know that some of these players will have the World Cup at the back of their head.
No, I think every elite or quality player understands they need to give it all to any game they play. If you cross them white lines and you're playing on the pitch for whatever top or crest you're wearing, to be considered one of the greats, you can't drop your performances because you're reserving yourself for something. And one of the biggest things in sports is morale and like sort of momentum. And if, for example, because they are the most, it's actually crazy because Newcastle have got the most represented players in the World Cup from a single club, if I'm not mistaken. And for me, what's better for Newcastle right now to go, you know what, our biggest rivals or biggest sort of threat to the top four is probably going to be the likes of Chelsea United. Why not go into that World Cup with a 9-point gap, beat them, and we can go into it, go feeling good, feeling high, and that's what they need to do. And the reason they're in that World Cup squad is because of the way their club's playing and the way they're playing. And if they let that slip, number one, they shouldn't, because you're a Premier League footballer. You're not League Two, where it's like whatever. You're a Premier League footballer. You want to be considered amongst some of the greats in football, and this is how you get your name out there. You can't slip up now, because your legacy will then be known as a bottler until you can then prove yourself again. So yeah, for me, there isn't really anything to do to motivate them. They've got to go out with highs. Really, why would you want to go to the World Cup on a loss? Like, it's just strange to me. If you, especially if you want to be an elite player, that's just the way I would view it.
Kendall, how you can get, like, listen, I want to, someone like Callum Wilson, injury prone, and he got injured a lot. Do you think he will give 100% tomorrow? I know that I'm not just questioning their I'm just questioning unintentionally you go to the game you knowing that it's the last game.
Yeah, I do get that, no, 100%. And if they didn't give 100, if they tried their best but weren't like fully energetic, like 20 constantly throughout the game, I would kind of get it. But yeah, I'll be a bit disappointed again, because we have got this massive chance now to just establish ourselves a little bit more come Christmas. I would really be upset if we lost at home tomorrow, because we are unbeaten at home this season again. So I would be really angry if they didn't put their effort in and we ended up with a loss, because obviously we have just won Manager of the Month today, and we don't want Manager of the Month curse on the only one game that we've got before we come back after the World Cup. So I really don't want that, and I'll be a bit upset, but I do also understand the other element of it, and because of the scheduling of this World Cup, there is so many players who are missing out with injury, and I know that not one of them will want to. Callum Wilson's not going to want to be called up for his first World Cup and then be like, see you later, you can't go because you're injured. Like, he's not going to want to do that. So I think the club might be playing this illness thing a little bit heavy, because if he is missing tomorrow, then obviously that's the reason why, because he's going to Qatar. But yeah, I'll be upset if we lost tomorrow and they didn't give 100%. But I the way that Eddie Howe's got them playing, I very much doubt that everyone on that pitch will not be given 100%. I'll very much doubt it.
Gunnar Solskjaer, Kendall voiced her opinion about Joao Linton and Dan Burn deserving to go to the World Cup. It's all over Twitter. We know that. Did you think that they deserve to go to the World Cup based on a team that is third in the league, in the Premier League? They're playing top-notch football at the moment. Quickly, are they not? Did they not get picked because they play for Newcastle?
Wait, who's the second one? Joe Linton and who?
Dan Burn.
Dan Burn. The Dan Burn bit
Dan
was a bit
Burn,
more tongue in
okay.
cheek, but
Nah, do you know what? I think whoever's been called up for Newcastle deserves it. I mean, they're playing way above their expectations, number one. And number two, like, I can't really fault them right now. I mean, even if you look at their last 5 games, they've got 4 wins, 1 draw. Like, they're third in the league. Yeah, if they play for Newcastle, that's why they got picked. It's the same with Arsenal players. City players are getting picked because they play for Arsenal or City. Like, if you're on form and you're performing, that's what you need in a tournament. You can't have players who might perform or we'll give them a chance because they've done it before, even though they've had stinkers upon stinkers of seasons. Because the World Cup's short. It's not a long 38-game season where you can be like, okay, do you know what? If they don't perform in a game or two, it's fine. So, yeah, teams have to pick their most on-form players and their best players. And so far, what argument does anyone have that Joe Linton hasn't been one of the better players in the Premier League, or Gumaraya, or Dan Burns, or Joe Linton, or even the likes of
Sven Botman.
Callum
Sven
Wilson,
Botman is not going
I can't believe he hasn't been called up, mine. That's genuinely a criminal offence.
Shocking that he's not going to the World Cup. It's shocking, to be honest. But from Chelsea point of view, Kendall, where do they go from here? Like, are they really gonna struggle to get top 4 after all the investments they had in the summer and all these players coming in and the Sterlings, the Aubameyang, the Koreas? I know that the injury for Reece James is very, very crucial for them. It's like he has to be on the squad, but also, is there an excuse? I just want to get your opinion since you're going to play them tomorrow. How do you see them? Do you see them as someone who can challenge you for top 4? Don't be modest. Tell me here, don't be modest.
I'm not used to this. I'm still just getting used to the fact that I might think we might win. Like I'm not getting used to getting too carried away yet. But yeah, you know what? When I watch them, I've said this even under Tuchel. I said I don't see a style of play from Chelsea. I don't see a good style of play. I don't like the way they play football. It's boring. It's genuinely a very boring type of football to play. Obviously, when they appointed Graham Potter, I didn't understand necessarily him, but I understood the philosophy going forward, because Graham Potter was very well known at Brighton for playing decent high press attacking football with a very good system and very good link up play. So I thought, you know what, fair enough. I get that. When I watch them now, I don't see any of that. There's phases of play sometimes in a game I'm like, all right, okay, I can see what he's trying to do here. But we've got to remember, he doesn't have his players. He didn't have a transfer window to hand to get who he wanted in, because I can guarantee who Chelsea signed, he would not have signed, because he's not that sort of person. He is not the type who wants ex-Premier League or Premier League proven players to come in. He likes young, like, physical, athletic players that he can coach into a position. That's what he is. It's a little bit like Eddie Howe's situation. They get compared a lot. That's what he likes. Yeah. So I'm not surprised. But yeah, I don't see anything good from them at the moment. And the biggest luxury you can give a manager is time. So unfortunately, if they want to succeed with Graham Potter, they're going to have to give him time. They're going to have to get, at the very least, give him the January transfer window to get who he wants in, and they're going to have to back him in it, because they've got no other choice at the moment. The players that they initially bought aren't currently working. They've had extensive injuries to key players. They have not figured out their own system. They've not figured out the best 11 yet, due to the injuries and due to the fact that Graham Potter's kind of in a transitional period now, where he's figuring it out himself. So yeah, again, just with the state and the form that Chelsea are in, I'll be very upset that we didn't beat them tomorrow. But at the same time, it's Chelsea. They are world champions. Well, they're not currently world champions, obviously, but they're very recent world champions. And yeah, they're still a decent team and a big club. So I wouldn't be surprised if they still made top 4. But I hope it's not at our expense if we're going to get there. If we are, that's a big if, but yeah, I still think they'll be fine.
Yeah, listen, before we get Daps on, let me know, Daps, if you're ready. He's in the background. Make sure to hit that like button, people. We need to reach 100 likes for this video. It's free. It's underneath your live chat. Please hit that like button. Make sure, just double check. So, Daps is here with us.
Looking red as ever. Don't know what is going on with this fucking camera. Hi.
Yeah.
You look like a tomato, man.
You look like a
tomato.
Some beds or something. What's going on?
No. Do you know what it is? It's the lighting is just wrong at the moment. I don't know what it is, but it's every show. I don't know what is going on. Anyway,
how's your day? How are you?
Yeah, good. Busy. Got to get an early night. Got to get a train up to Manchester at like 7:30 in the morning or something.
Oh, yeah, the game is 12:30.
Yeah, 12:30.
The game is early.
Then it's over to Arsenal on Sunday.
No, Arsenal play Saturday. Arsenal play the
No, that's
last
not
game.
for real. They're playing on Saturday.
Yeah,
They're playing.
7:45.
No, that's
They're playing at 7:45. It's a new thing the Premier League is doing. They're doing games at like Champions League all time.
yeah, but you shouldn't have to play us. No, it's actually completely ignore me. It's United that played yesterday, not Arsenal.
Yes.
So United will be playing Sunday, right? Yeah, ignore me.
United playing Saturday. So, Gunnar Souls, Chelsea, are they a threat to you at all?
No, not at
Not at
all.
all.
I'm not even
Not even
threatened by them.
close.
I'm not even being modest about it. I don't even care. They can take it how they want, because the thing is, they appointed a manager who's a very system manager. He's not someone who's going to come in and go, okay, let me change it to make things work, because he's got a very particular way he wants to move forward. And what you find with a lot of sort of pressing managers is they need that press from day one, because it takes 18 months to get their press effective enough to be able to play throughout the 11. So if they don't do it now, they're not going to get the luxury of another 2-3 seasons to try and get the players fit enough. And that's what they're suffering with. They've got so many different profile system players that I don't really understand who built this squad, because you've got Havertz with Sterling, with Mount, you've got Gallagher in there, and then you've got Aubameyang who doesn't really fit anything, and then you've got all these centre backs who are basically the same centre backs just playing across the back three. Then you've got Correa, who I didn't understand why they signed him, but cool, they got him for whatever reason. And then if you're going to tell me Reece James being injured cripples your entire system, then your team building has been atrocious.
Yep.
And the thing is, this is a long time coming for Chelsea. They think this firing of manager and hiring, because it's one of things, they thought this was the new age of football. This is exactly how it's going to be for the rest of eternity. But you see football's changing. You're seeing now that you need to have cohesive ideas. You need to have cohesive sort of hiring plans and somewhat of a DNA within your club. The reason why it worked for so long is because they had Sarri, Conte, Jose, who play similar styles. I'm not saying they play the exact same system. There are nuances which are different, but it doesn't take a long time for those players to adapt to those different systems. And then Tuchel's had to come in and completely remodify the way he wants to play football to fit into what Chelsea's had. And it's the same thing Spurs are going to suffer. Spurs, when Conte leaves, they're going to suffer the exact same thing, because those managers, to be honest, they're dinosaurs in the game. They're no longer, not many managers play a 5-back anymore, because they want to be a bit more expansive, have a bit more midfield control, and that you can't do when you've got that many players. So for me, they're not a threat. I think if they give Potter time, I'll start to take them more seriously. But I feel like they're not gonna, because they're already shouting and screaming that they want the manager out. Who are you bringing in? Like, look at the thing is, this is what I don't understand with like players can't be held accountable anymore. It's like they can drop stinker after stinker. Nah, it's the manager's fault. No, your players are shit. Just accept the fact and understand you can't keep firing managers and just hoping something clicks. Because that's not the way football works, in my opinion.
Yeah, do you know what?
Chelsea, yeah, I wanted your thoughts about like Chelsea for this particular going to the World Cup. Imagine if they go to the World Cup like 7th or 8th or something. Where does that take them? Like,
do you know what the thing is, right? Gunnar touched on it a minute ago, right? This has been Chelsea. Since Chelsea have got money, they've been like this, haven't they? They've been in the last 15, or I think it's the last 15, they've been the most successful British club, but it's never been consistent. It's like they have a good season or two, drop off, sack manager comes in, bounce, good period, sack manager, and it's just repeats. But for the first time, it's not been that recently. Now, the Champions League painted over bigger issues or covered up bigger issues, because you've got to be real. Tuchel came in. They haven't done anything in the league since Tuchel came in. He came in and they won a Champions League. And of course, I'm not knocking winning a Champions League. Winning a Champions League is huge, but it didn't really deal with the issues. Now, what they've done with Potter is they want to change it. They've won everything, but they want to play nicer football and they want to, become more consistent with it. But the minute the manager, the new owner came in, I was confused about what they were doing, because it was like some of the signings apparently were being signed off by Tuchel. Aubameyang, prime example. Aubameyang thought, Tuchel thought Aubameyang was his son or something. Like, that was definitely signed off by Tuchel. But then Cucurella, well, that looks like maybe that was done because they thought that Potter was coming. They were going for players in positions that maybe they didn't necessarily need. When, if we're being realistic, last season, when Reece James got injured, because he got injured a few times last season, that was Chelsea's excuse. Without Reece James, so surely go and buy backup for Reece James, and they didn't do that, and now same excuse again. But I think they're getting to a place where Arsenal were, where they're signing players with wrong mentalities. I don't think there's any team like I don't know, any sort of, what's the word, team morale, or it's just a group of players that are maybe a bit overhyped by their own fan base. It is that, but the worst thing is it's a toxic fan base. Like, at the moment, they're not playing.
I think they're the
Raheem
nicest fan base.
Huh?
I think Chelsea fan base are really.
Oh, bro, I'm not saying they're
the
nicest.
mourners. They are the worst babies on planet Earth. Babies.
They argue.
Yeah, because they're spoiled.
Every day
but
Chelsea
they know their
space.
place.
Every day Conte out. Every day Potter out. Every day Tuchel out.
Yes,
every day like,
these
this player's good enough. Aspie's not good enough. So and so's not good enough. Like, every single day I see Chelsea space is whinging. Every day.
Do you know what it is? I've seen it. Right. So in this new world where Twitter and social media runs everything, right? The biggest bragging rights out there is to win a Champions League, right? So everyone's just Champions League. Because on Twitter, you aren't just speaking with people in your own country. You're speaking with people globally, right? Who, you've got Real Madrid fans that will just jump on a space out of nowhere, even though you're talking Newcastle, City or Arsenal, and start talking about Real Madrid, right? Because they've got that bragging right. So that's what everyone wants. I've seen it recently. I've just been speaking about this with Steve. Ortega had a good game midweek. Now there's certain younger City fans going, yep, Edison needs to be dropped. Ortega needs to come in. He'll win us the Champions League. And it's like, come on, man. He had a good game, and it's great that we have a backup goalkeeper. You're going to say someone that's won, I think, the clean sheet 4 times and has been the backbone, like, he is the reason we play out from the back so damn well, and you want to get rid of him because someone's come in and had one good game. But same way, they'll swing the other way. And Chelsea's fan base is like that. That's why I worry. Like, Raheem Sterling, sooner or later, that fan base are turning on him. 100%. Because they're not playing to Raheem Sterling's strengths. He won't look good. They'll turn on him. Same way they've turned in on Potter already. What do they want? Boring football or exciting football?
They want to win.
They want to win. But
they want to win. The fan base.
I don't know. It's weird.
The fan base never complain about Tuchel's brand of football. They just complain about Tuchel because they thought they're going to challenge for the league and they didn't. They complain about Tuchel because he went on the Champions League.
It's such an oversimplification of like what football has become. Like, football's evolved past this sort of, now it's about profiles, it's about scouting, it's about a bigger picture than just hiring and sacking managers. And I think when fans become sort of moaning and like they're like, oh, we want this, but we want this, they need to understand what it takes to win first. Look at Man City, for example. Name me one manager who's come in and then when they've left, the next manager doesn't make sense why they've come in.
Yeah.
The thing with Chelsea is we're looking at him, we're like, okay, so they brought these players in, but no one can tell me whose signing they are. Like, no one can, like, if you look at Arsenal as an example, you can sit there and go, yes, there's a cohesive plan. Whether it's an Edu player or an Arteta player, it doesn't really ever make a difference. Because you're like, even if Edu signed it, it makes sense for Arteta. And if Arteta's signed it, it makes sense for the club.
Do you know what?
If you look at Pep, like City's
system,
it's the same thing.
I was listening. Give me one second. It's exactly what he said. I was listening to Guardiola talking about Arteta, and he said, do you know when Arteta out was trending? He's talking. It's not me. He's talking. He's like, do you know when everyone in England wanted Arteta out? Every global fan wanted Arteta out. You know, the management, Edu, looked at him in training and thought, this guy's doing something right. You don't see it now, but it's gonna happen soon. And now they are absolutely now playing the football that Edu saw it. Pep Guardiola said that. And that's different. Chelsea, everybody crumbles under pressure. Everyone.
Do you know what it is? I saw it, right? So I personally thought when Arteta joined Arsenal, before I literally, as in the day he joined Arsenal, I thought, too soon. You've gone too soon, man. But then I listened to, and you've got to remember, this was just after the Amazon documentary had come out on Man City. So you'd seen exactly how City was run, and you'd seen Arteta's role in it. I listened to Arteta's first interview, and he very clearly said there's so much at this club that needs to change off the pitch. Everyone needs to be pulling in the same direction with the same goals. Everyone needs to have the same goals, right? And then the minute I heard that, I thought he's fucking listened to Pep, because that's exactly what you saw from the Amazon documentary. Even the receptionists, Pep sitting talking to receptionists, the catering staff, they're important, making sure the players get the right food, all of that. Everyone is friendly. It's very easy to take instructions off of someone that you get on with. It's hard to take instructions off of someone you don't like, right? Then I watched, when we played Arsenal the first time when they had Arteta, very early doors, they were playing very good football out from the back. And then they reverted back. And that was because he didn't have everything in place. He's had to get rid of Aubameyang, right? Arsenal fans weren't too keen on it. Ozil, they weren't too keen on it. Now it all makes sense. So Arteta has kind of, and look, this isn't about how good my club is run, because I will be honest, we evolved from Chelsea. Yeah, we have to be real. Chelsea were the first lot to do it with the money. We've evolved, we've taken it, got better. Arteta's left City and he's taken that to Arsenal. Now, Newcastle have been in and seen the way City's run. And already you look at the mistakes that we made early doors, so far Newcastle haven't made yet. Like, and it's football's evolving, and it's the way clubs are run is evolving. And that's why Chelsea right now, I feel, as a football club, they're being left in the dark now, because the way clubs are being run is changing. And these big clubs that are used to just getting success with shit football, that's not good enough no more. And
Yeah,
you
and
need
the
to
American
move on from
owner is not in the beginning. Like, he thinks that this is an American sport. Basically, he wants to
Yeah.
come in, spend the money without real scouting and without anything for like any absolutely like good research and stuff. He just wants to spend money. Like, apparently, I thought very highly of Koulibaly, but maybe he doesn't suit the way the Premier League works. Maybe, and it's very obvious he's not playing well. Kukurea the same. You didn't need a left back. Go buy a right back. But he went and bought a left back. Guys, there is 300 of you here. Make sure to hit that like button, please. For us,
Please,
it
people,
helps
help
us
support the channel.
big time. Big time. It helps us big time.
Do you know,
Make sure it's highlighted under your live chat. Even if you're on live chat, close that, hit the like, and come back for the chat.
do you know
It's beautiful.
one thing I'd say about the way that Chelsea run, this could sum it up. I would not rule them out from buying Ronaldo in January. I really wouldn't. And
Oh
if
my God.
Ronaldo has even a half decent World Cup, I really wouldn't rule them out buying him in January, because their owner will think, yep, commercial value's back up there. So, yeah, look, I do think they will come good, but not this season. I think Newcastle shouldn't see them as a threat, being completely 100. I don't think Arsenal should see them as a threat. I think of all the teams right now, the top 7, including Liverpool, though they're not in the top 7, none of them, I think Chelsea, I can't see them getting top 4. I could see them struggling to get top 6.
Now with the way Newcastle are playing, now with the way Arsenal are playing, it's a good segue to Arsenal. Listen, Wolves away. How happy are Arsenal fans? And let me. I was listening to one of the Arsenal journalists yesterday, and he's saying that we have to first make top 4 ours, and then we'll think about the league. Are you in the same pool, or you think that you should go for the league from now, focus, or it's every game? What do you think, Gunnar Solskjaer?
Do you know what it is? I just believe Arteta's going for it all. You know, he doesn't give me the impression he doesn't want to win anything, or like he wants to. I know he crashed out of the Carabao Cup, but I didn't get to watch the game, so I don't really know what the insights of that game were. But he just seems he's driven to want to win, and he's in a prime opportunity to kind of take City to the sword, really. And even if you look at the owners, for example, Josh Kroenke was there at the Chelsea game, came down and spoke to the players after the game. And obviously rumors are now coming out that we're looking to get the right players in January just to kind of help get it over the line. Now, obviously, we know Man City are freak of natures, and they can. even though like we're more than capable of putting wins together. We've seen it this season. We've seen it last season where we put like 5, 6, 7 games together, but then we'd lose 3. This season, we haven't really seen that where we're only losing 1 and then we bounce back the very next game, which is the only positives I can take from a very early season. And yeah, like I think, making top 4 hours is the primary target for this season and trying to add a trophy to it alongside that, whether it's a Europa League or now the FA Cup. That would then solidify that sort of campaign, but I just don't want to see a huge slip off and us go 3rd or 4th. I know a lot of people are going to be, that's an entitlement, you're being an elitist or whatever, but the way we're playing, we should be aiming for at least 2nd and taking City to the very depths, because if Arteta wants to convince these next level raising players of this project, the best way you can do it is, I took Man City and my team isn't even complete. I've not got the depth I need. Imagine when you guys come into it. And that would then solidify the spiel he gives to players when he signs them. And they can look at it and go, yeah, they went from 5th to competing with Man City. This guy knows what he's doing. This is a project I need to be a part of. Not I want to be a part of. I need to be here. So it changes the perception. It changes narratives. And to be fair, it kind of puts City under so much pressure because they know better than anyone what Arteta is capable of, if anything. So I think they're right in the extent of, but I think top 4 secured. So now let's go for the lead.
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know what? The last couple of days, I've had a bit of a reality check on how difficult this season is going to be for us to win it. We play on the 23rd of December. Come back from the World Cup. I think Liverpool on the 23rd. So there's no break. It's straight back into it. Then I look at the players going away, and it's like, fucking hell. Edison won't start for Brazil. But then you look across the back. Walker's going to be rushed back. That worries me. And then Diaz will start every game. Akanji will start as many games as Switzerland play. Every game. And we don't know how far they're going to go, but we imagine that Ruben and Portugal will go a certain length. Stones will start every game.
Laporte will start every game.
Laporte will start every game. Spain might go quite far. Ake will start every game. We don't know how far Holland will go. Cancelo will start every game for Portugal. Gundogan will start every game. Rodri will start every game. Kevin De Bruyne will get run into the fucking ground. Belgium can be 4-0 up. They won't bring him off because they're idiots like that. Foden and Grealish, those two might rotate. Alvarez, he'll play. And I just think, do you know what? If Arsenal are out the Carabao Cup, it could be. Look, and it's no excuse. We've spent enough money. We should be able to go the full length. But when I look at it, I think, fucking hell, it is going to be hard. It's going to be hard this season. So,
Kendall, can you challenge these two for the title? Someone tipped Newcastle to challenge for the title a little bit.
She won't say it.
No, I don't think so.
Listen. I got Kendall. In the beginning of the season, Kendall said, I'm not saying top 4. But then in this show, in the beginning, she said, yes, we're going for top 4. You are. So what about the title?
No, not the league. Listen, we're 40-1 to win the league. 40-1. Get your tenors on now. Might have 400 quid. Nah, do you know what? The last time a team won, I think it was the last time a team won like Player of the Month, Goal of the Month, Manager of the Month. Apparently, this is according to Twitter, so I have not fact checked this, by the way. But apparently, it was Leicester in 2016.
Yeah.
So
how do you know the odds, Kendall? Have you placed this?
Because my manager at work is a Sunderland fan. And he was just checking, you think you're going to win the league now, don't you? And I said, not really. He said, well, you're 40-1 to win the league. I was like, are we? Really?
Did you go and put some money on?
Yesterday, I was like, we're one of the favourites to win the Carabao Cup. I was like, guys, I can't get over this. I'm genuinely like actually having like cardiac arrests nearly every game. I'm not going to make it till the season if we are like literally in top 4. So I probably won't make it the season if we get top 6. I'll be too overwhelmed.
I tell you what.
Listen, there is this comment. Look at this. Big up ABB for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Do you think that he's saying Zinchenko came out and said that he wants to change Arsenal's mindset and Jesus are massive in how they raise the mentality? Is that what Newcastle are missing? Or they already have that? Are they missing someone who already won the Premier League before? Listen, Zinchenko and Jesus won the Premier League how many times, Daps? 4? each.
Yeah,
Four?
4 each. 4 each. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
do you think if Newcastle can get someone like this in January, someone who won the Premier League before, someone who won trophies before, is that the thing that is missing from
That's a
them
good
to
shout,
push them?
No. You know what it is? This is the mistake, right? Because Jesus and Zinchenko are the right people to bring in. Because you can't just bring any winner in. You can't just go get Raheem Sterling in and go, okay, this is going to change the mentality. It's got to be the right person. It's got to be a personality thing as well. And
It's got to be
me,
fighters, bro. It's got to be
yeah,
fighters.
that's what it's got to be, because
Yeah.
you've got to go in there. Because I'm not saying Sterling is like, you know, a shitbag or anything, but it's one of those where like Jesus and Zinchenko are respected.
Well,
you
it's
know,
a
and
very good point.
We've got a young squad where they're going to look up to them and go, you know what? Yeah, we can see these players. That's what they need. They need someone to come in there and go, yeah, this is how you win. And they need to
Well,
be
they're two
certified
players.
winners.
They're two players that consistently, for most of the seasons, have had to fight for their place, right? And at the start of most seasons, they're not one of the first names on the team sheet. They're not even the first name in their position. By the end of the season, most seasons, Zinchenko and Jesus were starting for us most games because they have that fight in them. They've got the dog in them. I think that's a really good point, you know. And it is right that Sterling, you could say that when it got to a point where Sterling really had to fight for his place, he's bailed. So I'm not slandering Sterling, but it's a very good point that them two are they're fighters. So it's a good point. But I also do see that if Newcastle were to get one or two, maybe even just one.
But you know what
experienced
it is?
winner.
That was why they brought in
something to
Trippier,
prove.
though.
You know, with
Literally, and
Jesus
it's
and
worked out
Zinchenko.
perfect.
Yeah,
Who
because
did you want?
Zinchenko and Jesus still have something
Trippier.
to prove.
Trippier, yeah, there's a good shout.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Trippier, yeah.
He's never won the Premier League.
No, he's never won the
but
Premier
this-
League, but he has
this-
won a
this-
Liga. He's won a Liga.
He won the
So-
La
but
Liga.
this is what I'm trying to say,
League.
though. But you know, with Trippier, though, like he's still got a point to prove, and that's the big difference. It's like some winners, even though like Jesus and Zinchenko have won 4 Premier
Yes.
Leagues and everything like that, the difference is because they weren't solidified within the 11. There's always a question mark on how important they were. So if they can then come to an Arsenal, for example, come in and be mainstays and go win Arsenal their first Premier League in like 20 years, if they go and do that for Newcastle, for example, if let's just say Jesus and Zinchenko went to Newcastle and they took Newcastle to that next level, who's going to doubt they were vital for all these wins of titles? So there's always going to be a player that's got something to prove. And I think Sterling's not performing because I think he, in his head, thinks he's done it all.
Do you know what?
Sterling.
I something similar. I was speaking to someone yesterday about who Arsenal get in January, right? And they said, but you know, will we go in for the players that we as fans want? And I said, if they're going for players that you as fans want, that's probably not the right players in the right profile for your club at the moment. Because if you're Arsenal right now, yeah, and you go and sign Mbappe, right, there's a chance he's not coming to your club for the right reason, right? You know, he's got the choice. He's coming to your club ultimately for money. That would be why he's coming to Arsenal. If you go and sign a young, hungry player that knows he's going to have to go and fight for his place, that's the type of player you want. You don't want players that come in there. And this is the one thing Arsenal have got out of the habit of doing, and that's buying Aubameyangs, ultimately. I hate to say it, but Aubameyangs, who had issues at previous clubs. You know, I swear he was linked to go Real Madrid and Real Madrid pulled out, right? If a club pulls out of something, that should be a warning sign. Like, so you go to a club where you know you're going to walk in. That doesn't show much fight for me. When shit hits the fan, you know, I mean, Ozil as well. I hate to say it, but Ozil, when shit hit the fan, did Ozil ever turn up? Or was he there when Arsenal were winning? He looked fucking good when they were winning. When shit hit the fan, every game, couldn't find him. I could not see him. He wasn't battling back. He wasn't putting the boot in. And that's why Arsenal have changed under Arteta. They've got fighters now. And that is why, yeah. And you are right. He's seen what City have in them and what Pep says to get us over the line. So he does have that inside bit of knowledge. So it is a funny one. It is getting to the point now where you look at Zinchenko and Jesus, and at the start of the season, it was like, yeah, we don't mind selling them to Arsenal because Arsenal aren't our rivals. And now all of a sudden it's like, hold on a second. This could be awkward.
Yeah. But do you know what it is though, Daps? Like, even if you look at Man City's evolution, you guys have done the same thing in terms of Kevin De Bruyne wasn't the Kevin De Bruyne he is now. He was still that player who people doubted. Sterling, same situation. Gundogan, same situation. Rejected by many clubs, had a point to prove. Edison, no one really knew who he was before he came to Man City. Ruben Diaz had a lot of question marks as a young player. So when you look at it, that's what clubs need to now start doing. The same with Newcastle. Like, look at Bruno Guimaraes, for example.
Yeah.
All right, depending on what reports you read, he was somewhat snubbed by Arsenal because we did ask and inquire about him, but never really went in for him. Then he goes to Newcastle, and obviously it is a personal like vendetta that he's got. Like, he's gonna show Arsenal like why they should have bought him. But obviously he's at Newcastle and he's happy, and credit to him, by the way, because that takes a lot to come in. And obviously the introduction video he did about the Arsenal text and everything like that. And then to perform the way you do and to back up the video, credit to him. And that's why your club's doing so well, because there's a synchronization in the mentality. Eddie Howe's like, look, these are the players we need. And the owners have come in and gone, you tell us what you want, because you're the football man. We'll just go and get it.
Yeah.
So, and that's what you need to do.
On his podcast that he did with Jake Humphrey, Jake Humphrey asked me, he said, why did you approach the last two transfer windows like you have? And he said basically the first one was I did what I could to keep us up because that was my job at the time. So I went and signed Trippier, went and signed Dan Burn, went and signed Chris Wood, which is obviously all players that play in the Premier League, Matt Target on loan, all players that know the Premier League, can navigate the Premier League, have leadership qualities, have morale boosting qualities, like good characters in the dressing room. Then obviously we've got Bruno as well, which was just a little gem. He said I couldn't give up Bruno. Like I couldn't look past that deal at the time. So we got him. It wasn't an issue what we went in for, but they got him because they couldn't look past it. And then he said, in this transfer window that's just gone was about building for the future. So obviously that's where Isak came in, and Nick Pope and things like that. So Sven Botman, all young, really, really, like Sven Botman is just incredible. So yeah, that's why he signed him for them. So yeah, it makes complete sense. I'm happy with, and luckily we managed to bag Dan Ashworth of Brighton as well, who were actually very, very, very notorious with how good they are picking up young moldable talent. So yeah, I'm interested to see what we do in January. Obviously, someone's just pulled up James Maddison there. Yeah, James Maddison's going to be the first player we get in January, 100%.
Him and Bruno.
Oh my God, is it like you're really sure that you're going to pull that off?
Yeah, 100%.
I think they will as well, by the way.
You know what? I'll say it now. That's top 4 guaranteed.
But this is a thing.
We have no question. Top 4 guaranteed.
The transfer window in January opens on. Does it open 1st of January?
Yeah, first January.
Right. So after this weekend, well, Newcastle from now have 3 games before the January transfer window opens. Yeah. So they are going into the January transfer window.
Yeah, 3 games.
No, 3. 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
3 games.
Bournemouth in the cup, Leicester, Boxing Day, Leeds.
3 league games. Right. So you're going into
after tomorrow. Like obviously we've got 4 tomorrow, but after tomorrow we've got 3 left. Yeah. So
they will go into January in the top 6, no matter what. They could still be in the top 4, probably likely, but they will definitely be in the top 6. Now, their board would not have predicted they would be in this position this season, right? They're going to go into January thinking, fuck me, we could get Champions League football a year, 2 years, 3 years ahead of what we predicted. They will spend in January. Maddison, it makes massive sense to me. Like, again, we're talking about players that want to join clubs to build something. There's no player right now that could look at what's going on at Newcastle, especially an English player, that could look at what's going on at Newcastle, know they're going to pay him correctly, and think this is something big. And I want to be part of something big. I want to be, let me say from my point of view, Vincent Kompany, Zabaleta, De Jong, the ones that joined just as it was starting, right? And can see it go from that to that. They go and win a Carabao Cup this season as well, by the way. Don't ever underestimate a squad winning their first trophy together. Do you know how big that is? It's like a Sharks getting its first taste of blood. It's like, we did it. We won the FA Cup. Next season, we beat United in the semi-final. won the FA Cup, next season beat United 6-1 and won the Premier League, right? Once your squad gets a smell of blood, it's long. It's long for everyone, and especially when you've got that financial backing. And the
We
most
have just
important
announced our well, we haven't announced it, sorry, but we have just, got Fly Saudi involved today. So, like nice little airline sponsor.
You'll have a nice jet to fly you to your European games now as well. But
it's gonna be just beautiful. It's not looking good, Brev. Not looking good.
The other thing is that's massive about what's going on at Newcastle. Just finally, to not to talk too much, I'm finding I can talk about Newcastle while still giving my club praise. We were just talking about when Pep leaves on Steve's channel, and I said the one thing we have to remember is possibly as important as Pep is the person that hired Pep, right? The person that hired everyone at our football club, the person that made sure the structure of our football club is perfect, the person that signs off every single thing that happens, right? Khaldoon. And that's why I'm like, when Pep goes, every other fan base can go, we're going to be fucked. No. Because Khaldoon hired Pep. Khaldoon signed off the Haaland deal. Khaldoon signed off everything.
There's only one Pep. There's only one Pep.
I hear you, bro. But
it's only one
Pep. These people, right. We've got fan bases of two of the biggest clubs in this fucking country. In fact, over the last 5 years, fan bases of the three biggest clubs in this country, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man United. We have their fan bases constantly. Arsenal aren't doing it no more, going mad about their owners, yeah? And how their teams are fucked because of their owners, right? Are you saying it's a coincidence that Khaldoon and Mansour, right, and the way our clubs run? It's not a coincidence. So when Pep leaves, the perfect candidate will come in afterwards. So, and that's what's happening at Newcastle. They've got the right structure from the beginning. We had Gary Cook, who did what he did, but he was not perfect. He had to be replaced. Whereas Newcastle, I think, are doing it from the beginning.
But you know what it is, though, Daps? Like, one thing that you need to understand about Pep, every club he's left, like obviously Barcelona, Bayern Munich, he's left them in a better state than he found them. So whoever takes over is going to take over an elite sort of challenging squad, not an aging squad, like what Fergie left, what like Wenger left, for example. Like, look at Pep's side when Luis Enrique took over. He went on to win the second treble in the history of the club. So, yeah, I don't think they need to be too worried. I mean, obviously, it's going to be interesting, like how they approach it. Do they go and get that Enrique?
Might find out soon, bro.
Yeah.
The reason we're discussing it is kind of a bit of squeaky bum time.
Yeah.
I mean, his contract's up in the summer.
Do you not think he'll sign?
I've heard that in the last week or so, there's been two big rumours. One, that Bellingham is progressing very nicely, and the second one is that Pep announcement is coming very soon as well. But he did say he wanted to wait till the World Cup. I don't know for what reason, but it is worrying, of course. And let me be clear. I'm not saying it's going to be fine. We're going to go on and do quadruples when Pep leaves. But I do trust that, look, it can't be as worse as what he's experienced as a child. So I can't really be that mad at it. As long as we don't get Brian Horton back, we'll be fine.
I wanted, before we're going to move on from that.
Yeah.
I want to really talk about United, Liverpool, and Spurs. I'm gonna start with United for sure. They won yesterday. It was a second half performance for them. They're going to this weekend. Who are they playing this weekend? I checked. They're playing Fulham away. They win this game. I think they are on the same point as Spurs, because Spurs will have a game ahead of them. They play Leeds. Well, this Man United team under Ten Hag, I feel like there's a different animal, especially on Old Trafford. And I'm like, you Gunners, when you guys went and played them at Old Trafford, it looked like, okay, this is the Old Trafford in the back again. Did you feel the same for this Man United team, especially under Ten Hag? I watched yesterday. I'm like, at no point I thought they're gonna lose this game yesterday.
You know what? It's joking aside. I've had to clip up Cass when he said last night after the show, I don't believe United are going to lose again at Old Trafford this season. I've saved that in my back pocket. because I do think they will lose again at Old Trafford.
Until they meet you. Let's just put it this way.
Yeah, it is what I'd love to be the one that takes that scalp. We don't have to wait too long. It's 13th of January, I think. But I do get where he's coming from. United used to be that fortress that teams used to get off coaches 2-0 down, literally, right? And it's gone to shit. You've got Everton's doing the sue there, and that it's fucked. People have been going to Old Trafford and taking the absolute piss. The rain's found a way in, and so's everyone else. But it does feel like this season, it's getting that feel back. I'm not going to deny it. And away from home, they're still dropping points. But at home, they're fucking good. And people say Brighton, it was the first game of the season. They've moved on from there. They are looking good. It's loud. It's loud there again. It's buzzing. I'd love to come on here and slander it, but I can't. And it is what it is. I mean, look, I don't fear United. I didn't fear them going into the last game, and I don't fear them after we smashed them 6-3. So I don't fear United. But at home, it's getting louder. The fans are getting behind them, and it's all because of Ten Hag. It is all because of Ten Hag. He's a good manager. I'd love to slander him, but I can't. I think he's a good manager. Fulham away, though. Fulham away. Now, if we're going to talk,
not easy, though. They're not easy
tomorrow, and that's not at Old Trafford. That's at Fulham, and Fulham have had a very good, very, very good start to the season. You forget they just came up. So I wouldn't be surprised to see United drop points tomorrow one bit.
I'm not sure. I think they're gonna win the game. That's my prediction. I think they're gonna win the game. Fulham without Mitrovic still. I think so. He's saving himself for the World Cup. That's what I think. And without Mitrovic, they're a different team. Fulham, they're very, very different.
Yeah, they lack something up top, 100%.
Yeah. Like so, I'm like
saw that last week.
Yeah. Listen, guys, make sure to hit that like button. We need the likes to go up to 200. There's still 270 of you here. Make sure to hit that like button. It helps us big time. Now, Liverpool, 8th on the table, guys. 8th. I can't believe I'm saying this, right? Kendall,
so say it again, it sounds good.
It sounds good for you. Are you taking their spot, Kendall?
I thought you were going to say me. Fuck off. We don't want to finish second.
Do you know what? Who it'll be? It'll be. I'm going to put a prediction out there. It'll be Chelsea, Spurs, or Man United, or Liverpool. I'm just covering all bases there because it won't be Arsenal, Man City this season. I'm just covering it all. Now, do you know what? Liverpool will be fine again, man. People just getting ahead of themselves again, worrying about it. They'll be fine. I don't know if they'll make top 4, but they'll still be fine. They're not going to finish 8th. They're not going to finish the season 8th. It's as simple as that. They do things when it's necessary. And in January, when January comes, necessity arises. They are desperate for a midfielder, and that's what they'll do. So, they'll just go all out. And obviously with the news lately that they're going to be sold or big shareholders are going to come in or whatever, everyone twerking for Saudi money when they were literally having a go at us, having a go at Man City, absolutely twerking, flip-flopping the situation around. There's no good billionaires on this planet. If you can't beat them, join them. The game's the game. Shut up, man. Seriously, you were literally human rights 2 weeks ago, and now all of a sudden it's fine. Wonder what Klopp's going to say. Wonder what Liverpool owners are going to say when they literally opposed the Saudi takeover and asked for a secret meeting for the other 18 because Man City weren't involved, the other 18 Premier League clubs to get sponsorship deals, that sort of thing. Anyway, that rant's over with. They'll be fine. They'll get top 6, no problem. Don't know if they'll get top 4 or not, but they'll still be fine. They'll still be in top 6. They're not going to finish in 8th. No
top 6 is not enough for them. What do you got? I think
no, it's not. It's not. But listen, Kendall's spot on.
You've got to accept it.
And you know what? There's the shameless Liverpool fans that literally jumped ship instantly. Like, hold tight, Monts. I was watching his show the other night the night it got announced. He's changed. He's saying, "Yeah, we're now the money gang," and they're shameless. I respect it. They're shameless. They've just gone, "Yep, cool, no problem." He'll go and buy a headscarf and he'll wear it and do all of that shameless crap. However, listen, top Reds, I see you. You're not out on the road doing it yet, but I guarantee you, every single top Red at home, is reading the Quran probably. Trying to work out where each country in the Middle East is, so that they can work out how they can find some sort of moral ground and say, "Oh no, we're." Listen, everyone, let me be clear. Don't believe what the media tells you, right? Because every country in pretty much every billionaire out there has done something dodgy to get where they are, right? So no one's better or worse than anyone. But if it makes you sleep well at night, no problem. But
I'll tell you
Kendall's right.
I'm telling you something about this, okay? You know, everybody talks about Man City and Newcastle and PSG and all this money thing and then the sponsorship. You know, they found out that Wolves sponsor in Thailand is not actually a company at all. It's everybody in the ad is an actual actor or actress, and there's no company at all. Did you see that? There was no company at all. It's just a made up thing to just get a sponsor money in the club.
In what?
Without having questions.
In what?
And like a sponsor deal, I think a betting company or something in Thailand, there is no company. These are all actors and there is no company. It's just a made up thing and they just to bring in the money. It happens everywhere. People do this. People have to accept it.
Agendas. Look, it's all driven by the fact that owners of some clubs don't like owners of other clubs. That's all it is. Look, it's a billionaire's war. That's what's going on. And we as football fans are just being used as pawns, and people use religion. They use the fact that oil money has become an insult. You know, since when has oil insulted anyone, right? I mean, it insults my wallet, to be fair. That's about it. But how oil is being used as an insult now is just mental. It's just slightly racist, to be honest. And is what it is. But listen, Liverpool, back to the football. Kendall's right. Liverpool probably will end up finishing somehow in the top four.
The thing is, though, we're a third of the way through the season. The reason why I say top six, and obviously I know Mo, you're saying it's not good enough. I completely understand that. And obviously Liverpool fans are going to think that, and Liverpool themselves are going to think that. Hence why they're on the verge or thinking about selling, because the club's not going to be as profitable as it is right now. It's never going to be more profitable in this current climate. But apparently, we're a third of the way through the season now. A team on this amount of points out, I'm just basing this on Newcastle because this is what I've heard. A team with the points that we have now has never finished outside of the top four with as many points as we've got at this stage of the season. So, I mean, we made history last year by staying up. But, like, you can't tell me that you've had this terrible start and then all of a sudden you're going to win every single game from January.
Daps believe that.
It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Daps believe that they can go on like a 12, 13, 14 games winning.
What? Liverpool can go.
You
generally think
no, I don't. No, Mo.
Not anymore.
We mustn't have done
a
show.
I'm asking you.
Oh,
no.
So, look, up until probably about 3-4 weeks ago, yes, I was very much...
Okay.
When I've seen them do it, I can't get away from the fact that they can go on those sort of runs. But then when I've seen them, beat City and then go and lose to, Forest and Leeds since, it's like they can't put a run together. Now, tomorrow's a really interesting one because they have won a couple of big games recently. So tomorrow's a good test for them. Southampton, it should be, they're playing fucking...
Are you serious?
Listen, Southampton's manager...
With a new manager,
Southampton's manager probably lived down the road to me.
Them. Oh my
Southampton's manager lived round the corner to me, literally, yeah. Now he's up against Klopp tomorrow, right? It's interesting. I think they'll win, but how good will they be against this Southampton team that have kind of been whipping boys? And
it's a
by most, not Arsenal, by the way, Gunnar. You struggled
handful.
against them, man, innit?
Anyway, listen, last team is Spurs. They got Kulusevski back. They got Richarlison back before the World Cup. I'm not sure. I still feel that Leeds will get something out of this game. I'm looking at this. I'm like, Leeds have the energy to win this game. I feel that, right? The way they play football suits exactly going to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and getting 3 points.
They're a one-half team as well at the moment. So if Leeds can carry that energy throughout pretty much the majority of the game, then they're in trouble.
Come on, Dan.
I'm telling you now. Easy win for Leeds coming. The easiest win they're probably going to get. And I'll tell you why. Because Leeds played the way Spurs hate. Spurs hate it when you come up in their face. They hate it. So if they can, and to be fair, Bielsa's got them well drilled to press for 90 minutes. You know what their style is, all attack, no defense. But obviously with Jesse Marsch, they actually do look defensively quite decent. I'm not going to say they look perfect or solid or anything, but because there are a few vulnerabilities. But I'm telling you now, man, this is going to be sick to watch Leeds just run riots tomorrow.
I can't wait. But anyway, listen. I want to thank
Oh yeah,
everybody
get
that watched us.
Rodrigo in your FPL. I'm telling you, your man's gonna bang.
By the way, just so you know, I don't know if any of you have seen this because we were just talking about City's first game back from the World Cup's Liverpool in the Carabao Cup.
Carabao Cup, yeah.
Yeah,
3
and we were
days.
just saying
3 days.
and we were just saying that potentially with depending on how far teams go and who plays, it could be that City have to field a load of youngers. And I said, you know what, Pep should probably spend the next month coaching some of these like under 18s, under 19s, and get them fully up to Pep's style of football, so we can come out, play complete youngers against Liverpool and smoke them. And then MCFC lads who was on the stream said Leeds have actually arranged a couple of friendlies during this period.
Pep is
It's
going
not
to
bad.
Spain.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, is it? Apparently, Pep said as well about a few games behind closed doors or something with kind of like.
We're doing it as well.
Yeah, otherwise
we've got Rayo Vallecano and one in Riyadh as well, Al Hilal.
Yeah, see, there we go. We might as well. Otherwise, if we don't, it's literally Haaland and Mahrez against Scott Carson. It's not really worth running training sessions, is it?
Haaland could just play on his own though, probably, so you'll be all right. Like, I would honestly I think you could just stick Haaland anywhere on the field and they'll be fine. Like, you could just go fancy going, going in defence.
Oh, no, because you don't get one touch,
like,
remember?
Yeah, no worries. Fine. I think he'll be fine.
way
Yeah,
the
you could
man
just put him
just
anywhere.
bodies people is scary. Did you see the way
He's so good, man. He's so
what
good.
goal was it when he just literally ran, just barged this guy out the way and just goes and scores? Was it Fulham or something?
We need to see tomorrow. We need to see Haaland score 2.
It's Fulham. It's the Fulham.
Haaland scores 2. That will mean 20 league goals, 25 goals in all competitions.
He better play, man. That's now 2
I
games
think he will.
missing.
Well,
I think tomorrow is
me-
going to be a very good game for you. It's going to be an enjoyable
I think he
game.
will. I think
Brentford play
think-
a football that will. It's always good to watch Brentford team.
Yeah,
going
I think
against the big
Ivan
team.
Toney will score tomorrow. By the way, I think 4-1 City. Ivan Toney will score. I think he'll have something to prove, maybe.
Yeah.
But did I not say Callum Wilson if he stays fit? I did say it.
I'm so happy for him. I literally nearly crying yesterday. I was like, I'm so happy for Callum.
We still have 230 people here. Guys, make sure to hit that like button for us, please. It helps us big time. We're more than 1 hour, and we talked about all the big teams. Tomorrow, there is definitely going to be a Premier League review after the games.
9:45.
Yes, 3:45, 9:45. Yes,
whatever time it is where you are. 9:45. Yeah.
Not my time, your time. 9:45. And listen, I want to thank Kendall. Thank you so much for coming in. Great to have you. You're gonna be one of the top 6 soon. Probably not top 4. I'm thinking. I promise you this because I know 9 years ago City were not there.
Want to admit it yet.
She is now. She is. She just told you. She just told you that no team has ever got this amount of points and finished outside the top 4.
Yeah.
You said that. Now he's got a receipt.
I have said that. That is the truth. But as I say, we did make history last season. We were the first team to ever stay up without winning out any of our first 14 games. So, might do it again this year. Finish 7th or something.
No, I think interesting. That is Newcastle's an interesting one. Arsenal top 4. Newcastle, I hope they do. But it's a hard one because Liverpool will come strong. I do think Liverpool will come strong. I think United are a slow one to watch as well, if I'm being honest. But anyway.
Gunnar Souls, thank you so much for coming in. Let the people know where to find you if you want to plug your thing in. Yeah,
it's just Gunnar Souls on all social media. And obviously you can find us on top of the league. Yeah, winning the league this season on the demise of Man City. So it's a farewell present to Pep Guardiola if he doesn't renew his contract, and it would be like, unlucky lad. The student became the master, passing off the torch, and he can leave Man City with grace. So,
yep. Daps, any last words?
No. Thanks for watching. Please check your like button, give it a smash. MCFC Daps. And give us a subscription if you haven't already. And have a good weekend, everyone, as well, by the way.
And
salute.